So far in this next chapter of The Man Who Touched His Own Heart, the chapter I'm currently reading, which I am pretty sure it is chapter 4 or chapter 5. I'm pretty sure. Give me a second. Actually, no, it's chapter 7 in the book. They're talking about heart transplants, about these two men named Richard Lower and one more guy. His name is Norman Shumway. So these two men, they use the heart-lung machine that was made not too long ago in their day, and they're trying to successfully try to save lives. Now, this means that they're not trying to just like stitch something up. Like if some body part is permanently broken, they're trying to replace it with another donor's body part. Now, in the book, there were several deaths that they used on dogs. And actually, there was a team before they were able to put a heart of a puppy into a grown dog, but the dog only lived for, I don't know, it said about less than a week. Now when these two men, they were working, the first few tries, it was a complete failure, and but then very slightly, a few of the dogs started to live a bunch longer. Like some of them started to live, they said, for like 6 months. They started to live up to there. And it was a lot of progress there, and they were all on news stories and stuff. And they got so many donations just to keep the progress going up. So once they did that, again, there was some downfall, but then they still made more progress from there. From there, they were almost ready to do a transplant on a human being. Now, before we get to that part, when they do the transplant, a young boy from South Africa. His name was Christian Barnard. He didn't like how the rest of the countries in the world treated his own country. So he said that if he can do something amazing that will give him fame, it will also give fame to his country, which was South Africa. Wasn't really respected that much in that day. So what he was really focusing on, if he can perfectly transplant a heart from one human being to another. Now, he couldn't really do it in South Africa because the knowledge there was very limited. So he went all the way to Minnesota to do all this progress here. So he tried to do the best, he learned the best techniques, and actually, he did meet these two people, Lower and Shumway, who were trying to also do the same goal. Now, Bernard knew that this was now a race. Who can do it first? Now, they didn't want to do too quick to make it, well, not unsuccessful, but then he wanted to do it fast enough so he could be the first man to do it, which he does eventually. Now, let me tell you how he got this opportunity. He had several opportunities. Several of them, it was an accident, a car crash, the patient's brain usually. So what he figured out, he could take the heart of someone and keep the heart really not all good if the brain dies. Now, if they just take out the heart, that kills the life, which would be pretty useless, and it wasn't very smart. So what he did, once the brain was dead, when there was no way they could fix the brain or anything, they took out the heart, and then they sent it to another patient who really needed it, that their heart was all broken and worn out, So then they did it. But then there was a big problem in the way. It was your immune system. For example, like several of the dogs, and this actually happened the same to the successful living humans who had the heart transplant, their own immune system was attacking the donor heart, which eventually they killed them. But when Bernard, his main chance that he got, it was really worth it. He got a call from an emergency that there was this drunk truck driver who ran into two ladies that, they were just, any other day, they were just getting a cake from a bakery. They got, one of them died, one of them was severely injured, a brain damage, like I said. So she couldn't be saved, but maybe her heart could. And actually, there was another lady in the scene who actually got hurt. They said something about her heart being weak before, and she needed a new one. So it was good. So they took the woman, see if she's okay. Her brain wouldn't work. So they took out the heart, and Bernard successfully did the very first heart transplant. Now, he had many fame, but sadly the woman didn't last that long. She only lived for, let's say, 6 weeks. She lived only for, no, actually. So from day 12, she was completely fine, but starting from there up to day 15, she had many problems with, like I said, her immune system was attacking her donor heart. By day 18, she was dead. Yeah. So, the main point, and actually it was still surprising because Barnard he was still celebrating because he's already done what his mission was. But, remember when I said about Lower and Shumway? They're not over yet. Now, they also did the second, heart transplant as well, which they also successfully did on a human. Now, the person didn't really live for that long either. So what they really tried to do, they did several more. They still tried to do more. And then it got to this point where this is what happened. So Lower, he's on his own. He tries to do some heart surgery and transplants. And also, finally, he gets his chance. But it's not really fair. So, this black man, he goes to work, but it's a 2-story building. There's concrete on the bottom. He falls off the first floor. He hits the second floor with his head first. His brain is no more good. And they get the heart out. Now, what his family was told, it actually wasn't the same. So once they already took the transplant and put on another human being, which was a wealthy white man. You see, it was kind of racist that they just took it for no apparent reason. And there was a rumor that said that he could have still lived. Now, before they even knew that he was dead, the man was dead, they were told that he was in recovery. And then his friend called. They said he wasn't even there. So when one of his brothers came there, he waited for a very long time at the hospital, and finally he was told about the information that he was dead and had a heart transplant. Now, there was a rumor that said that he could have still lived. So the family, they took a lawyer, and they told him every single thing that they knew. Some of it might have been false. They viewed Lower as a guy like Frankenstein. He would take any body part when he really needed it, at no cost. But that wasn't necessarily true. Lower was he was very mad because the heart transplant didn't go as successfully as possible. So he even was mad about himself that he almost thought he committed murder on purpose, which of course he didn't because he's a doctor. He knew. Now, when the case came of the day, the families, the family's lawyer that they chose, which was actually was what's his name? Doug Wilder, who also became the founder of. Yeah, actually, I should probably end it here. Thank you for watching.